Jack, you've been at business since you were so young. You've tried so many different business models and seen the rise and fall of them over the years too throughout the economy. What do you think is the golden opportunity right now?
Right now, people are really craving community. You see this a lot with different platforms. I really recommend Skool. Skool's an absolute awesome platform. Before that, the founder, Sam Ovens, had a company, consulting.com, to where he made a bunch of online coaches a ton of money, really successful. I was in that myself. And now he has this platform, Skool, which you're very familiar with. And it's great at bringing together a community. People are craving like-minded communities, which is such a value add to add in your product. Previously, a lot of coaches just, had video trainings and they would deliver that. But when you can actually connect your members and have a shared mission and values, it's such an advantage. We talked a lot with the founder, Human Garage. They have, almost 2 million followers across their platform, and they have a cult-like community for what they're doing. And we talked with the founder, and he was saying, how do you build a great community? And he talked about like the origins of like cults, right?
Yeah.
Which is like really interesting when you take that concept into business being successful. What were some of the keys you learned from Jason?
Yeah, we were joking about, do people say you're a cult? And he's like, yeah, we get it all the time. And I think it's a sign that you're doing something right nowadays because humanity has become so disconnected from having groups together with shared values that now when we see it, it's almost confusing and we've kind of been taught that, cults stay away, but people want it more now than ever. So I asked Jason how Human Garage has been able to build such a movement and such a community. And part of it is that they hold a big mission and vision, and they talk about it all the time. They're bringing forth a new method into the world, fascial maneuvers. But also, I'd say the communication really stood out. I'm like, how do you keep people connected at such a large scale? And he said, through Zoom calls, then there's a leader that naturally arises. And you can tell because people look to them when, let's say, like the main host or leader is out of the room in their breakout rooms. And then as the natural leaders rise, then you pour into them and bring them in too. And then it just grows and grows from there.
Absolutely. And I think where people go wrong with communities, creating communities on Skool and trying to scale a business is they try and make everyone too similar. When if you study the best cults and cultures across time, even the secret societies that have stayed alive for hundreds or thousands of years, or something, for example, like CrossFit, which has a massive cult and community and it's super successful. He talked a lot about pick a few things that everyone shares, right? Like for example, CrossFit, how you work out. But outside of that, you have the ability to be an individual, right? So if you want to party after CrossFit, like, cool, that's your thing. To where some communities where they go wrong is like, no, you're a part of our tribe. You have to do everything like we do. And that's actually, ends up dissolving the culture, the community, to where now if you have a community-based product, it's a big question on how do you actually keep people engaged, coming back, buying into that vision and that mission, and ultimately getting them results with your product. Were there anything else that you learned around that time?
Just that creating a movement is so powerful. And that's the difference I see in the market between people that just have businesses versus having a brand, and especially a cult brand, a movement, something that people feel emotionally connected with, they resonate with that, it draws them in, it opens their hearts and shifts their minds, shifts their wallets too, versus just, hey, we have a business, we're selling this thing, buy my stuff. So what do you think is the big difference between a business and a cult brand?
Yeah, I think A huge difference is obviously like you talked about the vision and the mission having something that's huge, but also like shared values. Like, what are the few things that we can all agree on within the community? I think that's a big part. And obviously, you've had a big experience with this. I mean, between your platforms, almost reaching 2 million followers, you've had a lot of business experience and consulting, having a marketing agency. So, with all of that experience, where do you think the big opportunities are over these next few years?
I would say, even though I have a huge community, and I see this happen to a lot of other creators and thought leaders too, is they're still not able to monetize it. So you have to build an actual business on the back end of your social media. You have all this attention. Now, what are you going to do with it? And the thing is that you're in a really perfect position if you build the right business model. There are a lot of different options out there. People will go a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different guru advice. I see a lot of people go into coaching and they feel more free because they're making income there. They're not working a 9 to 5 and they've escaped the matrix. But then you can only scale one on one so far. And after a while, you're going to feel burnt out and you will have sold all of your time. So then people go, oh, I want something passive. I want to be passive. I want to be hands off. I'm going to make a course. And that's great, but you have to actually still continually sell the course. There's still only so much you can charge for that experience. And ultimately, like, it's kind of hands off, like you're not really connecting and giving your gifts. And so many of the people I meet, I know people genuinely want to talk to them and like feel their essence and their coaching.
Absolutely. We've worked with a lot of coaches, right? And some of them, when they're first beginning, they're like, oh, I just want to like deliver it through videos, which is great. Like, great, it's a start, but a community isn't like, it's not too difficult. Sure, absolutely. There are some keys to it to get it right, to make sure people are engaged and actually bought in. But you'll realize it adds so much value to your product where you can continue to charge more and it helps you a ton. For example, in our community, Spark Wildfire, people will ask questions and it won't have to be us answering it all the time. Like our other members will come in and answer the questions, right? So that's a huge part. And right now, you talked about the business model. Alex Hormozius, he had his first book, $100 million offers, $100 million leads. And now he has one he just released. I'm not sure if you saw it, but it's $100 million money models. I haven't read it yet. It's not for sale, but I think he's getting a lot. I like the business models and is probably going to use that book to promote Skool in some way, right?
Yeah, it's a huge opportunity, and that's what I was essentially building up to is you don't want to just do coaching and take on one-on-ones, which a lot of people will just start putting in their bio, hey, DM me this for one-on-ones. But they're also not building something like an actual legacy or business that can run without them too, right? They can't step away from it, so it's still not a business. Then people try to do courses. They think it's passive though, but they're going to hit other problems with that. And so that's where Skool is now really emerging as the new opportunity where you can really customize it how you want to be more done with you or done for you. Not much done for you, but do it yourself and actually do, group calls once a week like we do, or some more with some experts in there as well. Have the community chat like you were touching on too, so people are actually actively throughout the week able to ask questions. And then you can provide like a one-time deep coaching call like we do with a strategic game plan right when they onboard. So they get that immediate coming in depth with you, your deep expertise. But then after that, they have the courses to watch through that you assigned, the weekly calls to actually still get some coaching and that like actual face-to-face energy with the community, and then the chat to engage throughout the week. So I think it's the perfect business model if you are an authority, you love connecting with people, you have a big mission and want to start a movement, and easily monetize your personal brand.
Absolutely. And a lot of people are getting into creating school communities and trying to create an information product. What do you think is the biggest thing that most people get wrong?
Doing a free to paid community.
Yeah, that doesn't
I've
work.
met so many amazing people who tell me that, yeah, I moved away from my one-on-ones and I tried the community thing and it was free and it was great, but people weren't engaging, and no one was showing up and using it after a while, and I wasn't making any money, so I had to quit. But that's because the school games, I think, really heavily promoted like doing a free paid community.
Absolutely. I think Andrew Kirby's kind of like another co-founder of it. I think he made it popular on like, hey, if you're a big influencer, create a free community, provide a lot of value, and then they'll upgrade. But actually, it's the whole notion of simple scales, fancy fails. You're adding so much complexity to your business. Now you have to manage two communities and your social media presence. It's huge when your social media presence is already like your free community. It's much easier, through a call funnel or something just to get them, paying right away. It's just as hard to sell someone into a free product or a product that's worth, pretty cheap as it is to get, a higher caliber person to pay you more for, more of a community
Yeah, it's the same
experience.
lift.
Absolutely. So you have a business to where you help creators, coaches, people really getting into creating successful info products. Where can we find you?
Down below in the description, we will put our website to sparkwildfire.com, as well as a link to get a free training and schedule a call with us and see if this is a good fit. Map out your strategy of how to scale your personal brand and your business to, help awaken and help serve the world, as well as create a freedom lifestyle for yourself. We're out here in Bali, and we'd also love to see any one of you that comes out here.
Awesome. And if you guys like this video, all things business, content creation, AI, being successful in this new economy that's rapidly evolving, like, comment, subscribe, and we have many more videos coming to you.